A great comeback from T1 to take map number 1 here of Lotus. I'm joined by Autumn, the coach of T1. And Autumn, I want to ask you, in the high-pressure matches like this, you've played with Zeta as an IGL, going all the way back to Cloud9 in 2021. What does you two's relationship bring in matches that are important like this one?
Yeah, I know Jera's real personality and characteristic and his passion or something because we've worked in really long time. So he's IGL right now, and knowing the IGL's real personality and tendency is really important for this important match because I let him think oh, this is our problem for mental wise. So we need that because our mental wasn't good like our former match. So today probably our player felt pressure a lot. So it means as an in-game leader, he should control our emotion in game, right? And through this round, even we are losing momentum in tech time or something. Me and Jera try to boost our confidence and mental. So yeah, I think it's worked.
Well, it showed in your performance match number 1. Best of luck in the second map, Coach.
Thank
and we'll
you.
send things back to the desk.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mimi. Fantastic answer there from Coach Autumn. I'm back here on the desk with these two gents. Welcome back. By the way, we spoke about the IGL thing before we went into game, and it's really good to hear from Autumn and also the mental side, right, of what an IGL can bring to a team.
Yeah, definitely. It's much more than just calling strats, right? A true IGL is bringing mental in the game, outside of the game leadership to make sure you're feeling ready going into it. There's a lot on his shoulders, and it looks like Zeta is doing very well.
Yeah, he really did, especially coming back into that game because there was a moment where, we all looked at each other, we thought it was over. We thought FPX were about to run away with the game, and all of a sudden, T1 just rally off several straight gun rounds on their attack half and looked unstoppable to close this game.
Yeah, talk about being unstoppable to close it. The closing rounds, their post plants were phenomenal. They went 7 for 10, only losing 1 towards the later of the half, and that was what was able to close them out. Look at this Molly here, getting a double kill is so funny.
Back-to-back rounds from Zeta.
Yeah, so I think he definitely started the momentum for his team as the IGL, kind of got the fire in him, got his boys moving, and they closed it out phenomenally in the post plant.
Yeah, leading from the front, as we would like to say. But I feel like FPX, they tried to maybe not let them plant a couple of times, but sure, nothing was just working against T1's attack side.
Yeah, they couldn't seem to stall out the hits, and the Gecko just wasn't powerful enough for the mound retakes, especially because when they did actually go mound, there was good tools to deal with it. Like the ultimates finally came online for T1. Again, I have to give praise for Zeta. This was a very well-called game all across the board from T1.
Yeah, and to add, whenever we saw those reclears coming out of FPX, like the mound control you're talking about, the counter util was always on point with T1, which is a huge step up in all of their macro that they've shown throughout this tournament and previously. They were ready. They had nade out, people had flash out, Saya popped his ult when the reclear came, so that just shows that they were ready and one step ahead of FPX going into it.
And that's on Ban too, and that was a player I think I would be a little bit critical of on his day 1 performance against Foot. I think being ready with the paranoia, being ready as a reaction, having multiple layers to your strat, not just trying to jam it into the C site, but be willing to dump util and react to the other team. This was a very different T1 approach compared to what we saw yesterday.
This is the T1 we were expecting to see, right?
Yes.
We know they could do stuff like this, but do you guys think it's enough what we've seen so far on map 1? Is it enough to save them from elimination today?
I think so because of how interesting this comp is coming out of FPX. They were able to deal with it very well. And going into Bind, which is their pick, a comfort map for T1, in theory they should be able to deal with anything that comes their way just because they've probably had so much repetition on the map. The counter util is there, the strats are coming out. I wanted to talk about what you were saying about the strats. You got to have layers. It's so easy to just say, all right guys, let's go C, but to have the layers of, what if they react by reclearing us? What if they do a push? What if they push the other side? Having everything just set into the round makes you quickly reactive and just shows that was their game plan going into it.
There was actually a round, to give praise to FPX, there was a round in the first half that we were watching where there was an insta-op pick from Yakao. over at the mound, right? He satchels out, gets that pick, and then they mid-game back to A after their Harbor got picked. And you basically were like, they should go through the breakable door, they should go to B. And they did exactly what you were asking them to do in that situation. I just think the mid-round calling from both teams looked quite well, honestly, throughout that entire map.
For FPX, they have to win this next map if they want to avoid elimination. So let's hear what their coach Nathan had to say ahead of Bind.
A tough map #1 for FPX. I'm joined by Coach Nathan. And Coach, I wanted to ask you, in the face of elimination for your team, what have you been telling the players to keep them focused for map 2?
那想问到教练的是，其实，在第一局的失利之后，现在队伍已经来到了淘汰的边缘线嘛，所以说你会跟他们说什么，能够让他们在第2局的时候，在第2张图的时候保持集中呢？
我觉得就主要跟他们说，不要再想其他场外因素，或者说乱七八糟的，我们就当这只是一个 BO1，我们好好的去认真的准备这个 BO1，好好的去发挥自己，展现自己就 OK 了。
So I just told all the players that we don't focus on anything else outside the game. We just focus on our own performance, the in-game contents. We just treat it as a best of one to focus on every single games for the every single game plans. So that's all.
Thank you very much, Nathan and Wendy, for the translations. Back to you, Yinsu.
Thank you very much, Mimi. I think that's a good game plan. That's a good approach in times like this.
That's definitely the right approach, right? You just go game by game, round by round, and you try to claw back into the series. Obviously, we're entering T1's map pick. You said they're really strong on bind. Ironically enough, they actually have been running a Gecko on bind, so now they're probably going to be the ones playing Gecko on this map. And this isn't a map that I would say FPX is particularly great on, but they definitely have a crazy comp that they've previously run. I'm very curious to see if they end up locking it in again with like Reyna Jet. I think that could throw a wrench in things.
I mean, they played Bind 3 times in the same competition, qualifier for this, and 3 different comps. I don't know if they even know what works or what doesn't work.
Yeah, but to add, because they play Gecko, even if it's on a different map, they kind of understand the ins and outs, so I think they're going to be okay dealing with that. But I'm more so excited to see what kind of innovative stuff we're going to see out of T1.
Okay, well, this is the Prime Gaming agent select for T1. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. They went from not changing comps at all to changing their comp again by replacing the Raze with a Jet.
And I think that's definitely just a comfort thing, especially for Saya player. I used to play with Saya player, so I know how he is like as an individual. And on this map, it kind of activates him more. Having that dash, being able to take aggressive fights down B long, aggressive fights into showers, and be able to safely get out, kind of suits his playstyle very well. And on top, you're going to have a lot of entry utility, like the Wingman, the Dizzy, and the Skydog. So he's going to have a lot of utility up front for him to be able to take a favorable engagement and get out if the pressure comes back from FPX.
I am worried, though, about the plant stalling on their comp. I mean, typically, you would use the Raze to do that. So I'm curious to see how they approach this on the defensive half.
Definitely.
Yeah, and of course, Berlin, the IGL, is actually playing the Raze, so I can't wait to see how he is going to do on this map, because if they don't win here, Mitch and Tom, they will be eliminated.
Well, the stakes are certainly high for this matchup as we get on to bind FPX. No doubt, we'll have hoped that they were already going to be sitting 1-0 up, but like we heard, you got to treat every map like a best of one. This reverse sweep starts on bind. For FPX, it's going to start on their defense.
Yeah, I like this swap up. It's slightly less crazy. The rain has disappeared, which I think there's going to be many who are very happy about that one, but also gives them a lot more opportunities. I always love to see this sort of Sky combined with the Harbor Viper, that sort of burst of utility that you could do with these explosive style pushes. And I think that's going to have to be the main game plan for them on this defensive side. Push, take control, and fight them up front before they can get too much done with the execute-heavy style of this buying composition. So I think it's going to be a fun map, even without that Reyna in play. And I'm a little bit happier to see Lysor go over to the Viper.
Saya players, Jet, certainly going to be something to keep an eye on throughout this. I suppose really the defensive side, seeing how they temper that aggression. As we heard from Valen, you can definitely see comfort prevailing for this man on this map in particular. Nice nade, nice and deep, slowing it down. Can't follow up on the back of the Tiger, and even a wall wasted to start this one out. But the damage done, it's on the Saya player. He's 16 HP.
Especially as the man somewhat expected to take that space for the team. Being that low on health is not going to help him out, although Munchkin, I believe, does have the heal, and it almost makes me think they might double back towards the A side. The fact that he hasn't rotated anywhere near. Yeah, there you go, the heal instantly being popped. The thing is, though, this does buy a little bit of extra time for those rotations to come through.
I mean, T1 are pretty close and sectioning out a lot of this site. The flash through the wall for Saya player to force a fight. Nijao goes down. The kills going their way for now, as it seems T1 are stabilizing in the post plant. That's when Aya steps up. That quick double, but it's left him on 20 HP. Has to rely on Berlin getting out of the bathroom and finding a leg to stand on with this retake. Currently not spotting any players. They might have heard the jump towards the spawn. There's a tap. Aya now going to be defending him from the crossover halfway already. They need to hurry, and Saya just that.
Yeah, a big win for them. An early pissed around take, and bear in mind they managed to do that in the last map. The second one not quite going their way. It's even on that ground, but to start things off on this attack side with a pistol win, we always know that this map leans towards that defensive side, although I do wonder if the compositions might make a little bit of difference when it comes to this game. But yeah, I think already seeing that little bit of extra confidence for Saya taking those fights even with the early damage that was taken from him. And now, again, you've got a shorty for Yuiko. I wonder if we're just almost a bait and switch. Berlin, the IGL, taking up the raise. You might be thinking, it doesn't fit within a lot of the rest of his agent pool, but historically, it's his most played.
T1 losing one already. It's going to make you a bit more cautious about how you approach the rest of these engagements, and rightfully so. Yuiko up close, shorty in hand, wall protecting him too. Viper might section him out for a moment, but it depends when he makes his way in. He's missed them all! No. T1 getting out of that one scot-free. And a plan to come in now. They have definitely stabilized.
And for the rest as well, it becomes so much more difficult. The cheeky plays you can make off aggression or little pockets of space become a lot tougher when that spike is ticking against you. T1 can just sit back, wait patiently. Good snake bite at least, but Carpe's going to land the shot. A quieter game from him in the last, and now Aya with that Sheriff. Again, they've reduced the numbers a little bit for T1, but it'll be relatively clean, or clean enough.
3 players surviving, you can't really complain. Marshall can still get good use out of a round like this if they don't decide to upgrade it completely. It's just that there. It's heartbreaking seeing that shorty in play. The opportunity is there. The timing. Just 1 second earlier, I think it's easy enough, but the fact that your Viper fades through the wall just as you swing gives Zeta all the room he needs to close that duel out, double up on it. 3rd round up for grabs. It looks like we might have a little bit of a timeout coming through.
Yeah, potentially a technical one. I'd be surprised if this early on in the game we're just going to see them take themselves a timeout. I'd be surprised, but
3rd round tag.
Unless something has been spotted by the coaches. But for now, at least, just taking a little moment. And that's the thing.
That's a home screen.
For T1, just being that little bit more, I guess, confident going into this map. The thing is, they were rocked by Foot. That's the match that's coming up for them later if they manage to take this one over the line. And I think having that start to the tournament, going that far down as well in the last map, and then being able to streak things back, I think maybe realizing a little bit more of that form that we've seen from them. Because this was a team, again, over at Tokyo that had a pretty decent performance. They were rocking with some of the top teams and even taking a win over EDG in their opening match. So it's not like we should be doubting this team. I think it's just that first matchup really made them look weak in comparison. Like having a lot of different mistakes, but finally starting to wake up a little bit for FPX. Is more so one of those scenarios where it's like, okay, even go back to the sort of interview this morning. They may not necessarily expect to get a victory within this tournament, but they want to learn from it. They're clearly enjoying playing on the stage in front of the crowd as well. So it'll be whether or not they can at least make this one that little bit more competitive and hopefully for their sake take a map. Because as I said, like with the adaptations they've made to their composition, what they've pulled in, rather than throwing a Reyna into the mix, they've got something that looks like it can still have that sort of explosive aggression, but more so be a little bit tempered at times as well. And for the other side of things, it's more looking at T1 and going, okay, can you win this one clean? because if you're going up against Foot, who have looked in good form, you're going to need to.
It's a thing for FPX, you know, going back to China, you're going to be in a pretty decent position if you have managed to draw something out of these opponents, if you're able to learn from the mistakes made here on the international stage. And like they said themselves, you know, they got to see Brazil. They got to learn time and time again. That's all you can do in these early stages of a scene still developing. But the top of the scene certainly is contending for trophies at this point with what we've seen from them. FPX, well, I don't want to say they're not quite there yet. This matchup, it's not been going too swimmingly to begin.
I feel like that always seems to happen, though. Like, a lot of teams just sort of take their time to really feel out the international scene. We saw it with Brazil, Japan, and China are definitely starting to get there as well. But for FPX, this is where they look to get back into this match. A buy up, Yuiko taking the early fight. That's one way to get back into the server. 2 heads wiped out almost immediately. And for T1, wow, this was somewhat of a heavier investment. Like, they still have plenty to buy up within the next round, but they have rifles here.
You can see that they're even looking across the map now individually, trying to find opportunities to take some fights, maybe catch a player on the back foot or front foot as they get aggressive. But there's no movement. Side of FPX content to sit back, except for over in the bathroom. Little pop flash out of Aya, that's what they were waiting for. And that has just crumbled this round, leaving the player who was lurking just moments ago, Munchkin, to try and make this work on his rotate around. And they're already pushed up close. Look at Aya's position. A hard one to clear. He'll check it anyways. Crosshair placement near perfect. But Aya still comes out on top.
Yeah, what a way to break back for FPX. A prime gaming flawless right after the pause as well, just to make sure that they've been sat there waiting for this round. And these are sort of plays you want to see from Yuiko. As said, this composition, although you have the likes of the Harbor Viper to sort of delay, slow things down that little bit more, you need some explosiveness. You can't just sit back and try and use your utility to delay, because you have a double duelist in a Sky, which is basically just bursting to try. Well, I was going to say set up teammates, but Pariah is actually set up himself a lot of the time.
Very early ulti going through. Of course, you can pick that one back up and have to gain control over there first. Being destroyed inside of Buka. Reobtainable for sure. Do they want to pressure out? A flash certainly indicates they do, but it's only spams for now. Damage done though. Lighting. Okay, traded back indeed, but just look at the price paid. Lysor down to 45. Man advantage sitting with T1. And the Spike still in a very safe spot. Can TP or can just walk away. It's a flash peek though. That's what they're gambling on, and it's worked out for Lysor. His low HP maybe holding him back, but one is good enough, you would have thought.
That's the thing. They were pretty much ready with the anti-flash help from Zeta. The Thrash setup as well to make sure there was no way that that final player within the site would be able to hold on. And now for Nichao, a 1v3 clutch on the contact angle, and then the swing is there immediately. Good work from T1, a nice little execution. This time as well, I'd note that Zeta, he starts off as that, basically like lurk play. Holds off on the push. I think it was a peek out from Yuiko over on the other side of the map. Oh no, it wasn't a peek out. It was just straight spam through a wall. Never mind.
Both were just wild spams.
Yo, I'm on something. I'm on something.
Evo certainly is. It was a T1 watch party. They got their snacks, are ready to go. 3-1. And T1 snacking on their opponents right now. Looking good. Always someone to watch with those flashes. He's on the other side of the map to the engagement. Hello. Yuko's looking for someone. Updrafted around, and well, he's being found instead. Saya player dropping and looking for more around the top of the boxes. Oh, and he's up in heaven as well. There's no stopping this man. Mr. Worldwide on the site, but he's being taken down at long last.
It was mentioned comfort. I don't think you can look more comfortable than that. Literally gliding through that A site. Nichao, The thing is, even if he gets this far, there's going to be an instant swing. Trying to find anything more should be impossible. Actually, never mind. It's a little bit disjointed. Looking possible for them as I has managed to find a multi-frag of 3. Zeta in the post plant, though. We know how devastating he's been. The spam through the wall, not quite connecting. The time's fairly far gone, but they'll get it anyway. Wasn't able to deny that defusal. And FPX, what looked like an impossible retake with a man disadvantage. Aya's there again.
Yeah, he started it out on B, other side of the map, while all that mayhem was going down on the site. But once he arrived, Saya players' success ceased to be. What an incredible round from this man. A lot of it not even coming down to his utility, just straight up better than them. You love to see it. A second round now found for FPX. Maybe that can light the spark.
I wonder, did Munchkin blind himself there? I'm
way.
trying to work out
so.
who flashed him.
Yeah, I think he did.
It's the only thing that makes sense, but yeah, that means he flashed himself, went for a peek, and then got killed for it. It's definitely a blunder by T1. Also him individually. Saya player though, wow. He started that round off with a bang. He's looking to do the same. Viper's Pit out immediately, Reckoning alongside it. They are trying to use those ults as almost spam. Okay, a chance. But Berlin's managed to just walk right past, and then nothing's going the way of T1 right now. Okay, finally, Van has managed to find a kill. He goes running through. Somehow catches Yuiko off guard, and this looks even again. In fact, even in favor of T1.
That doesn't last very long, does it? The neck-and-neck fight down to Lysor with 40 HP. Sure, Saya's low, but not gonna kill him with your snake bite out. Ban with an incredible round, just swinging into angle after angle and winning every fight along the way. FPX won't be happy to lose that, but the one upside, their ult economy is looking pretty good. Just take a look at Ban. Okay, the first one was good. That spurs him on to run through a wall, take that kill, and that's how he closes it. Same thing, just wide swing and take him down.
That's the thing. Ban may play controllers, but he's got the duelist heart. Like he still loves. I always like to see him play Fracture because of that. He gets to go back to his trusty Jet, but you can see it in this round. Come on, now their opponents are on the other foot. The thing is, though, similarly to T1, they managed to make it work with a Blade Storm, Reckoning, Viper's Pit thrown through. Well, now they have the ult spam themselves. Seeker's back online for the second time. They even have a Viper's Pit, Blade Storm, and Reckoning of their own. So much that they could play with, a lot of potential in this round. The fact is, though, T1, again, are taking their time. And they have Seekers of their own. So if they can get this down to a closer scenario, maybe spot out the gamble, this could still be their round.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not out of the question just yet. Plenty to play for, but the rotation towards A coming in from Berlin. Flash has found contact, that cancels the rotate. Berlin will still be here. That Viper's Pit's causing problems. Now only one avenue of approach if they do want to take this to B. They've lost all the control on A side. They go back and go through that teleporter. They're in trouble. It has to be the B commitment. Seeker's on the way, flash through, and the dash soon to come in. They're trying to deal the damage with weaker weapons, and it's not easy. Berlin makes it look that for the burst, but look at the follow-up. T1 just grouping together, sticking as a team, and trading every single one, if even.
Yeah. And the problem is as well, Yuiko, like his flank initially might have worked out, but it's been so much time on the clock that the space just isn't really worth it. Reckoning available, but I'd be surprised if they use it, and now he has to try and do it all.
A Blade Storm 1v3 is certainly not the easiest. He dodged the flash at least, but look at that. Another firing squad waiting, and another triple kill for Ban. He is on one on this harbor right now. And an agent I wasn't necessarily thrilled to see. I never necessarily am, but wow. It doesn't even matter what agent he's playing. He just hits heads.
Yeah, and I think this is a good time for FPX to take a pause. Like 5 rounds already on that attack side for T1. They found themselves in a very good spot now. I'll say the double duelist, a little bit unorthodox on Bind. Maybe you could lean towards the fact that FPX might be able to get more rounds in the attack, but I wouldn't ever be confident in stating that on a map like Bind. It's always very difficult to sort of find that space with such narrow angles, and on the other side of things, like having a bunch of initiator utility combined with that double controller, it sets things up so nicely for not only them to have the stack up in the right place, but more importantly, to have that delay potential. 5-2. P1 going to be very happy with how things have gone so far, but Ultimates all but burnt out, banned one away from having that reckoning, and on the other side of things, they have that showstopper on Berlin, who, after some of the initial rounds, has got a little bit quiet.
Yeah, had like a classic kill in the previous round. So
yeah,
before that,
and a sheriff kill.
It's been, yeah.
This is your second round sheriff kill, yeah, so he hasn't had a kill with a rifle yet.
And that's it. In the impactful rounds, you need your duelists to be showing up. But I think it's difficult. T1 have such an interesting way of taking sites, you know, using that harbor to block off so many of the angles. Gecko's incredibly annoying when, when his flash isn't caught behind the wall like we saw from FPX on the previous map.
Keep it up.
Blinding him up, forcing him back, and then the space, even if they're only falling behind that wall for a second or two to let the flash fade away, Saya player's already in there. He's already taken the space, and his teammates are flooding in with him. The pressure is incredible that T1 are able to apply. So far, FPX haven't really found a reliable solution. Here's their chance with the B side under threat yet again, but there's a lot of utility on A that's stopping them from rotating fully.
Yeah, the thing is now, though, having that reckoning. But that was the main goal of this round, just try and make sure that they get that ultimate online. You can set up wonderfully to take in that space, and then having a reckoning comboed with a dizzy and maybe a sky flash as well. It's almost impossible to dodge everything that they have. 3 players, though, ready and waiting. Saya, immediate dash! And while Lysor's just been decimated, now the reckoning coming through as well. This will reveal where his opponents are, spamming through the walls. He has support as well in the form of Carpe. This is looking bleak, and well, Aya just trying to almost hide at the back of this site. A counter reckoning being sent through, but with Thrash denying that space, they can't even do anything off it.
Yeah, I don't know where you go from this point. Both flashes still for Aya, can hope to find something, but the showstopper doesn't even land, and Saya players switch places, got inside the cove, fragmented this retake completely, and there's players waiting outside, baiting Carpe, letting him fall. That's fine, because they've got the utility to close this one out. Now they can swing in one at a time, run that clock down. Even if they didn't win the fights, they might have won it on the clock alone. Gorgeous stuff from T1 yet again.
Yeah, I really like the dynamic of their post plant. You have the almost insanity of Saya player, just running around, shooting at people, has support from Carpe and his flashes as well, as they play forward in the post plant, and then you just have Zeta basically sat at the back just going, okay, I'm now setting my lineups. If you even get close to that spike, there's a snake bite on it, and I'm going to be swinging you off the headshot. And that's before you even talk about the final layer as well, of the wraparound through long. There's so many layers to what T1 are doing that FPX, at least at the moment, have no response.
That's it, like we're saying, this defensive side, the full aggression out of T1, the burst plays have been working. When it falls back to retaking the site, there's always that extra element thrown in from T1. Now Saya player has his dash. First kill, not going to be found. Down to 45. Yeah, he needs to heal immediately. If the wall wasn't in the way, who knows?
Yeah, a little bit unlucky. But even still, it's what they can do with this. Aya's actually gone for a Guardian as well, so a slightly heavier investment for him and a chance for Vicor to do some damage, but not this time around. They're going to be building into this one, and Saya, he's just so confident playing around his own utility, almost just lurking, waiting for the flash, and it's a little bit labored on the spray, but he will get the opener nonetheless.
Full control. Viper post plant, 2 snake bites for Zeta. Not here to help out Saya player who's being dropped. Harpa falls, Ban's gone. Now this is going to be a close round with Zeta falling. It's all crumbled. The side of T1, finally we see a problem. Lysor right low on the edge. What a shot from Munchkin. He thinks it was being defused. But the other player was inside the orb, but no. A little closer. Aya's able to close the round and find FPX a third at long last.
It's not the round I was expecting, that's for sure. The MasterCard Thrifty coming through for the side of FPX. Basically just Sheriffs and a single rifle that they had, but wow, I don't even think the Guardian was the main point of call. It was Yuiko, the first shot whiffing, but from then on it was just magic. Maybe a lifeline. Even still, like 6 rounds on the attack of this map is incredible, but if they can somehow streak this back and level things up, maybe, just maybe, FPX can survive in this tournament.
Still time to build that up to 6-6. Let's see what FPX's response is. B players falling back. They sense the aggression. Operator from Yukon not going to find anything. He's bailing. Seekers are hunting down his teammates. Berlin's still able to hold strong, but left on super low HP. He won't get out alive. But is there a follow-up? Follow through from FPX. Saya players up close yet again, but it's traded. Aya again able to take down Saya player, potentially end his streak on the A side. A shot missed for FPX though. Munchkin's only 10 HP, but it's enough. Now he can buy even more time sitting in that corner. Flash back online. It'll be used fairly soon, you'd imagine. Oh, it better be. That snake fight's close, and it's got him. Great positioning on that utility, but the time is still going to be an issue. They need to find these final players blinded. Aya knows there's a player around the corner, but he's blinded himself! Even still lands the shot, but he's got more to do! Another player to take down, and it's Ban consistently hitting 3K after 3K, and there's another for the tally.
I don't know, if that's not the reflex coming into the desk, I don't know what is. That is absurd. Blinds himself and his opponent, and then just somehow, maybe off sound, actually manages to hit the headshot. There's still not enough. Van has looked fantastic, and I'll be honest, on the other side of things, Aya has been the main glimmer of hope for FPX. He's 14-7, and they have 3 rounds. Like, it is truly ridiculous. Has enough to potentially go for a hero rifle. I think it's a hero rifle with no shields, which is definitely a bit of an obscure choice.
Well, the Blade Storm picked up as well. You saw T1 with a really nice strat. We've seen it before, the Cloud Burst to dodge the flash at the start. Element of surprise is the hope. Okay, 2 knives already expended. A headshot needed soon. Berlin's found it on the Saya player. There's the Blade Storm not finding the kill, but it doesn't matter. Once they keep thinning out these T1 numbers, the lighter weapons, the pistols, seem so dangerous. And with T1 now in a 3v3, a 3v2, a 3v1. I don't know how they've managed to recover, but Lysor's left alone.
Yeah, at this point, I think Munchkin might have him dead to rights. Even gonna push forward back into that corner. Trying not to give him any ground, although, there you go. Pistol will give it away. Zeta playing passive up top. Oh, not gonna find anything. Carpe will spot him out, and T1 in a dominant position. These rounds somehow still seem to become competitive at times, but the response from T1 is swift. And they are looking to have, well, one of the most dominant attack side halves on Bind I think I've seen in a while. Saya player even going to invest into an operator this round. He's got the Blade Storm to back it up, so a perfectly reasonable thing to do. And actually, I was looking at the finances. Yuiko is now also going to have no shields on his rifle. This is something we saw in the last round as well, but definitely a peculiar decision.
Yeah, he invested a bit more in full shields last round, knowing he'd have that Blade Storm online. Comes at a cost, obviously. You see that cost right here and now. Operator held. But he's not going to be given an opportunity to find an open fight. Side player instead just neutered in the early round. Haven't been able to grab that orb just yet. But I'm not sure either of these players is too keen to pick it up. If it was a showstopper, maybe. But they're 3 away.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's 2 players that are 1 away from an ult, and neither of them are in the spot to actually challenge for the orb. So it's evidently not something they plan to fight for. Saya player.
There's a flash.
Always scary, the flash. It goes deep, though. They don't expect anybody to be this close. It's the 1-2 punch, but only the one. Saya's all that's needed. But this is a ruse. He's just selling the idea that this is a B hit. The fact is, though, they haven't really fallen for it just yet. The rotation eventually coming. Yuiko spots them down mid. He hasn't been able to connect on it, and he's wrapped on by Zeta. Leaving just to make that one. Saya player has just taken over this round. Wobbling. He's one off a showstopper, but he's going to need a lot from this one.
Oh yeah, this needs to be one hell of a round. Quick kill, showstopper up, follow through. One of the biggest clutches of Berlin's life. He's running straight into the off to start it. Saya player holding the angle, but Zeta peeks it first. 9-3. Phenomenal gameplay from T1. A great first half, set up for success. And funny thing about Ban in that, when he got one kill, he was statistically more likely to get a 3K than to end there. Like they're not back-to-back, two back-to-back 3Ks and one very important one later on. I think you can certainly look at a number of facets that have been strong for T1, and we're going to toss to the analyst desk to talk all about them.
Thank you very much, Mitch and Tom. T1's attack side, just like the first map, it just feels like it's too strong. Sean, I know you got a telestrator here. You want to break a round down for us?
Yeah, this is actually the first true gun round T1 played in this game, and I want to show you how impactful this Gecko actually was. So zooming into the mini-map right here, you can see off the bat, they are thrashing through Hookah right now. Carpe's throwing thrash, they're dogging up long. There's going to be a cascade thrown by Ban up long, and then they leave Zeta on this lurk on short A. They switch between the walls on short, and this time he's actually able to catch Yakao right there on short A, and that's what opens the round. I love the dash across Hookah by Saya player, cutting the space, using the info from Thrash on the dash. The dog from the sky goes through the harbor wall, spots the player under Hookah, and this is where Zeta gets that frag. Immediately, the high tide is cutting across both elbow and spawn, and you can see as we pause right here, the Seekers are now popped from Ayong back sight. Now this actually is a really sick play from the defenders because the Viper that's close by follows one of the Seekers and is able to spam Ban right through this wall. Unfortunately for them, Saya also spams a player. This is where I think T1 makes a really good decision to completely cut noise. The three players on this B site end up waiting passively. The Thrash is collected in Hookah along with the Dizzy, and from this moment they end up popping through the Hookah with Thrash, and you can see the player on the site right now is actually getting pinched by both Saya and Thrash with Zeta coming up long. This is just a really, really clean round by T1, and honestly, I don't know what FPX could have done dealing with these ults right here, and I thought they played it really well.
Wow, 9-3. Maybe the curse could help them out a little bit, because if it doesn't, Mitch and Tom, it's going to be over for FPX.
It could be a long flight back after this game. 3 rounds on the board as they start out their attacking side, and I have to agree with Sean, Tom. You know, T1 did so many beautiful things on their executes, and not even on the first map, but here on Bind, I genuinely felt like FPX, they didn't make massive mistakes. They weren't misplaying it. They were just getting wrecked. And it might just be the same again here in the pistol. T1 have snuck behind them. In fact, using their own wall. FPX are in trouble. They have no idea how many players are coming up behind them. And that's the spike. Disaster strikes despite Berlin claiming control over this part of the map. They've got to go right back to B long to pick up the spike. And there's 3 defenders there.
Yeah, they had nobody watching for that B short push, and well, they've got the A site under their control.
They were going to teleport.
Yeah, if only they had a from the shadows in round 1 on Omen that they don't have. Yeah, it's a rough position, and the fact is everything is being watched for. I say that Zeta, he's switching between the 2 angles. It gives an opening, a chance. Uico being able to bring things back into a 3v3. Still 40 seconds left on the clock, and they have no ground. They have to try and take their way back in, clearing almost everything as they go. But the fact is, all 3 players
30 seconds left.
are sat back, waiting within this spike. Carpe already going to put another to the death toll, but it's decent trades. Down to the jet battle, but Saya will win it once again. It's double digits for T1, and although that round looked over from the get-go, FPX made it close.
They did. They had a fighting chance, but this is how a lot of these rounds have gone. It's one beautiful play for T1, and then the odds are stacked against you. 23 seconds left on the clock with that final battle going down. There was still so much time left. But in the end, FPX fall behind, losing the pistol. And that could set them up for disaster now. And Eco being called for 11-3, the likely scoreline, and a near flawless half going to be needed for FPX. And yeah, like you say, Tom, it's very strange. Light shields on Nichao, Yukol, and Lysor both playing the Sheriffs. No shields.
Maybe gives him a slightly better chance of a plant. I don't know. I'm trying to find a reason. He has managed to do some damage with this classic in the past.
2K last time.
Yeah, so maybe he just knows he'll make the money back. Money back guarantee, that's what it is.
I'm not so sure about that one. Check the fine print.
We'll see.
So they're leaving their options open again. Yukol going to be moving back towards B, spotting for aggression, meaning they can teleport if they need to later if he finds a pick. But with these weak weapons, really, you are just hoping for a big mistake to be made. Flash through from Aya, gets him absolutely nothing. Didn't even make it through the smoke himself before he was spammed down. The teleport, they're not committing. Oh, okay, well that's actually worked out nicely. They kind of thought the other player had fallen back already or was out of here. Instead, the punish there as the utility goes through the teleporter. Damage already decent. Whiffed shots too. FPX have a serious chance. If they had rifles recovered, you'd feel a lot better. But if Lysor keeps this up, he might not. What? That's 4 kills with a Sheriff. And it's leaving it just onto ban. Consistent clutcher for this squad. His multi-kills have been incredible, but Lysor wants the ace. He's hungry for it. Down to just 36 HP, and it's stolen away. But you know what? You'll take the MasterCard Thrifty. You'll take a round win if you're FPX right now.
I can see why they put him on Reyna, honestly, because I could tell you for free that this round had absolutely nothing to do with Viper utility. This was all about just him managing to land headshot after headshot.
3 out of 4.
A crazy round for Lysor and a lifeline, an utter lifeline for FPX in this tournament. A chance for them to somehow make this one competitive. They get the rifles on the board almost immediately, and on the other side of things, well, it's a mixed bag. It's a jumble sale.
That was a headshot. Zed already down to 10 HP. I don't think he'll be lasting too much longer. Players in the teleporter coming to help, but there's no one left to help. 10 HP and 4 more players to take down. The frenzy would be nerfed if that one came through. 10-5. Still signs of life for FPX.
Yeah, a nice clean round. I like the idea from T1. Just throw everything into the wind, try and pinch off the teleporters. It's something you see quite commonly done, but ultimately didn't garner too much. Now is where we see the buyback. Thrash already online for Carpe. He's been building that one up. And almost a Viper's Pit for Lysor as well. Those Sheriff kills being put to good use. Even the Showstopper not too far away. There is a lot of potential ultimates for them in this round. Early utility use though. Straight away the High Tide to delay any attempted B push, and a flash put through it as well. But it hasn't really garnered much information for T1. Very passive in the early stages of FPX in this.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully cautious. One mistake here, and everything could fall apart. Even their flash is up for Aya, so you're expecting a much, much slower round out of this attacking side. The fights do come through, though. That was Berlin looking for some of his own space on B, and he has certainly cracked that control open. You're going to see Munchkin move back in, fill the position, see that nobody's here. That keeps them with 3 players on the A site. The read is perfect for the side of T1. The weaponry is here. 1 player spotted, a second firing off from heaven, and they've spotted Carpet up close. That was my concern. Maybe he'd slip underneath the radar, but nobody does.
It's just an execution. Uicore managing a double, and Berlin as well. At first kill he got looked like he stole Boaster's res. It was so clean, but for now, at least, Munchkin just left on the other side of the map wondering what happened. It's like we stacked up the A site and not a single kill coming through. I like it from FPX. Again, very explosive in its stance. And as you said, like in terms of the setup, sending Thrash through early and having basically all that Viper utility to try and delay, it didn't work out.
See ya, buddy.
Nishao's not going to catch him, unfortunately. Munchkin
Lysor might though.
Carrying forward that rifle. Yeah, it's not guaranteed. Lysor's got a really good position moving through the spawn. Yukaw's just gone for the teleport. They've got him pinched, but they don't know it. The steps down, Munchkin, he did catch him. So Munchkin's going to carry that weapon through to the next round.
Yeah, at least something. T1 actually going to be taking a fairly early pause, but it's understandable. Probably shaken a little bit from round number 2, losing 4 players to a Sheriff and the round slipping away from them. A couple of very explosive rounds as well, and as you sort of said, I don't think the setup that T1 had was a bad one. They were definitely prepared for it, but they just lost every single fight. The entries from Yuiko and Berlin, and that's the thing, these are 2 players that thus far in this game, fairly quiet. That first half, a lot of it was Aya just being able to put up numbers, and then in the second, you've spoken about Lysor, but ultimately, if those 2 players can start to step up, that double duelist explosive entry duo, there's huge amounts of potential. And the interesting thing thus far is Berlin has almost been playing like a lurk entry on the other side of the map. Like while the rest of the team building into what was an A hit, he was fighting hookah control. So he's almost working as a killjoy, but with Ray's utility.
Yeah, it's funny because players can obviously slip down past you, but I think a lot of that is just their idea of feigning out the control. Having your Raze playing into hookah is just a classic, really. The utility is perfect for clearing out all those angles, and all the while making noise, causing those other players to rotate so your teammates have an easier strike onto the A site. I like the ideas, and it's even better when he's able to deliver with those kills, cause those headaches. As we said, T1 were ever vigilant. They didn't over-rotate, and players like Munchkin are key for that. Even when his teammate goes down beside him, he's able to say, hold on, let me check. They didn't follow up on it within 5 seconds. I'm going to retake the space. I'm going to flash in or use my Tiger and spot out if they're still around here. It's been good for the control. This guy on the other side of Aya has just been incredible when it comes to individual ability. His flashes are scary.
Oh.
And Munchkin, Saya, and Zeta down. Look, there was only 1 rifle between the 3 of them. That's now left on the floor for nobody to retrieve.
This is the thing as well. FPX are directly reacting to what they attempted in round number 3. Like, it was that double split where they pushed up through showers and then had the TP and a flash through it. So they're sat all the way back in their spawn. They're expecting that sort of play. So I feel like T1 almost need to try and adapt a little bit to how they're playing some of these anti-ecos, because that was a little bit too telegraphed for their opponents. And now, well, after their patience being rewarded, they can now just go into this A site relatively for free. Not really anything here. They know that Ban rotating has managed to find a rifle, and he's always good for a few, but not this time. And as said, Yuiko, he really is starting to come online.
Yeah, even if it's just up against these pistols, it's a big confidence builder. And with a 4K under his belt, that confidence is getting close to sky high. FPX, 3 behind T1. 4 ultimates online, 3 for T1 though. It could swing either way. I do like the idea, but realistically, from what the idea from T1, but realistically, what we've seen from FPX in a lot of these attacking rounds, even going back to the previous map, is patience. They will wait, they will allow you to push and take space, and look to punish afterwards. Even on their attack side on Lotus, we saw constant battles where they would be baiting you into those rotations with the very objective of finding a push like they just did in the previous round.
It's going to be another pacey hit. I think it is. This time the double duelist together. A lot of damage being taken. Showstopper utilized off the back of it. They are trying to throw these ults in, but Carpe's done very well. He's actually managed to claim control of the spike, and this will have a rotation coming back from his teammate through the teleporter. Zeta already finding another, but Lysor's still there, still fighting.
Yeah, going down's not the biggest deal, though, realistically, especially when Munchkin is going to reoccupy this spot just moments later. A great angle to fight for, but oh, that's a spanner thrown into the works. Lysor kept back for just a moment. Thinks maybe they've snuck in. It'll run the clock down, but there's 55 seconds. There's still time. Rotation. Carpe on his way back around.
I like this.
Clearing out middle. And while they waste their time getting this spike and trying to avoid these shots in the dark, these players on T1 are set up for the post plan, or for even the planned attempt. Maybe not. Swinging in early, and he's found the kill for his trouble. The worst part is that pit doesn't cover the site, so it's basically going to go down if you commit to the plant. And, well, certainly if Lysor falls, which seems to be just moments away, ever vigilant, not giving him that fight. Well, they weren't all giving him that fight. Carpe certainly was. He's isolated the correct duel. Skame sends off the charts on where Saya player was coming from, but it's not enough. T1 with another.
Yeah, at every moment you do just feel like there's a chance that Lysol will just take over one of these rounds. The thing is, though, I really like the patience, again, from T1. Like, Munchkin, you can watch the majority of this round, he doesn't move. He just stands up top knowing that, okay, they're fighting for the spike. I can just wait for them to try and plant it. I will disallow them to have that plant for spawn if they were to desire it. And took a lot of the risk out of that round. They didn't go pushing through the pit. They didn't fight for that spike control. They basically just made it impossible to plant. And now, the defense, they've got that operator online. It's the same on the other side, though. And Yukor is not shying away from this fight. He has no support here. He's just going to look to peek this completely dry. And, well, I'm not going to lie to you, kind of got what he deserved.
Saya player not going to miss those shots all too often. Here's Ban. Locking down Bathroom. He's tucked in the right corner. And Nijal has no idea, no iota on this play being made. Now it depends. Will Ban get curious for information? Will he swing? No, that's what Carp is here for. It's going to be a double swing. Dealing with Nijal easily. Locking the control and now focusing back towards the push that's coming in. The flash up top confirms players are here. Although they'll be blocked out by this wall. That's the intention for T1, to be able to reposition, get Carpe back to the site. With plenty of ultis to work with, but they won't want to expend them here. A 12th round on the cusp of being theirs.
How do you even plant
Crash
here?
maybe from Carpe could come through.
And this is impossible. Like, you have to kill someone
Good
before
name.
getting a plant. Even Munchkin still surviving. Thrash going through, maybe a little bit early. And somehow they managed to fight two back. A wall bang. Oh, throw a Thrash. It's ridiculous from Carpe. I don't know how he's getting away with the frags he's finding, but now Aya is all that's left. Maybe hoping for a late dash through, but there's nothing he can really do here. Look how passive Carpe is after huge individual play. He waits patiently. He's going to send Little Bro through. Finally, he'll go down, but he's already won the round. His sacrifice will give T1 their 12th. And it will just be the rifle kept for Aya. That's all he can hope for from this scenario.
It's hilarious that Saya player was on B that whole time, even at the end of the round.
Yeah.
They're just covering all their bases in case the push comes through spawn or something wild happens. FPX were given no opportunity. And I do agree, that ulti probably came in a little bit earlier, but what a recovery with that 2K, his third, indeed, of the round, in towards Bath. And then, you know, he doesn't get a 4th kill, but he wins the round by laying his life down, interrupting the plant. That is 12-7. And now 5 straight opportunities for T1 to send FPX home.
Yeah, again, you kind of have to feel like this is looking like a done deal. T1 have been in the driver's seat for the majority of this map, an incredible attack side. And again, it seems like the second we have Autumn with a chance to have a pause, they come back strong. Exactly the same here. They lose the round they play with pistols, and from then, a couple of victories. Good ult usage, but more so, I wouldn't say that maybe the discipline was there when they're all on the site, but when there's one player left, that guy's very disciplined. Like Carpe doing an incredible job, Munchkin the round before. And now for FPX, everything's on the line. They said it. They love playing on this stage. They've loved playing in front of this crowd, I'm sure. The fact is, though, they just need a little bit more. 5 rounds in a row. It is quite a tough task. And with players like Aya and Lysor still putting up some pretty decent numbers, it's not an impossibility, but you just have to feel that T1 eventually will get one of these rounds.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, Tom. You know, 5 chances to close it out. Ultis can be cycled. Already the aggression. Look at that from Saya. He won't find the reward. But they're not punished either. An opportunity is denied. We'll see what the response is from the side of FPX. They've been denied any control over B, and that control is actually being retaken now by T1. The A site is their new objective. And this time, they're not going to be sending Nishao alone through Bath. They're double checking there's not a bit of a nasty crossfire about to come through.
I've got your trail.
Oh, here goes the execution. Carpe under some serious pressure. Dizzy thrown out to try and slow them down. In fact, he's spamming everything. He knows that they're trying to run him down. They know he's in that corner, but it's his teammates they should be worrying about. Zeta already, Aya desperately trying to cling to life, but it is done. T1 will be the ones heading back to that decider match to face off against Foot for the second time. And unfortunately for FPX, once again, they failed to get a win at an international tournament.
It's a phenomenal sign for the side of T1 to have this series wrapped up 2-0. The second map so dominant as well. If they're going to have a chance of winning that rematch up against Foot, this is the face that we wanted to see from them here today. A phenomenal game played, but you have to look to FPX. They fought well. Players like Aya striking fear into their opponents' hearts. But that's going to be the end of the road for them here. GG and well played. FPX are going home.
Yeah, I think steps forward in terms of their compositions, the ideas that they had, and even just on an individual level. I think Aya played fantastically throughout. We saw moments as well from the likes of Lysor. Unfortunately, it just wasn't quite enough today. T1 have shown that other side of the coin. The team that we expected to see coming into this event, some great ideas off of them, moving back to maybe some of the more comfort players, and even just on an individual level. They looked a lot better here today.
No, they absolutely did. I think definitely learning from some of those initial breathing problems, really, when it came through. Like, realistically, playing on the stage can be tough. Up against the crowd as well, it's not an easy thing to do. Now, they have an opportunity to make right all the issues from the past. And let's go ahead and toss this over to the analyst desk to see what they made of T1's performance.
Thank you very much, you two. Now, I feel like T1, it was looking a little bit dicey towards the end. The fake comeback was coming in, but Sean, they stopped the bleeding and they win out dominantly.
The good luck chain. The good luck chain came in clutch today, right?
Yeah, it did.
Is that what it was, you reckon?
He said it himself.
Yeah.
That's all he needed.
How'd you ever lose with Sai on your team? That guy's insane.
Nah, it's pretty hard. I mean, I played with the guy myself. He's very good duelist, and we saw in those two maps, even at the beginning, the end, like he was closing out games, getting the key kills, but my boy was overheating a little bit. I can't lie. I gotta talk to him. My boy was overheating.
I mean, it was a much better performance compared to their first game. They do survive elimination for now. But unfortunately, we have to say goodbye for the second time today. I don't like doing this to FPX. I don't think a lot of people had high expectations of them coming into this, but I think after seeing them play a couple of best of threes, you were both saying this to me when we were watching the game as well. They have good ideas. They have pieces which look great, but maybe just the experience did it.
Yeah, from what I'm watching, I think that the team is great, but what they lack is in the hectic situations when it becomes like 3v3, oftentimes they're kind of blundering those post plants or blundering those situations. But what I was watching yesterday was the opposite. Like they were slowing down in the 3v3s and making the right calls. So what that tells me is they just need to find that consistency, right? They know what to do and how to do it, but it's more so about putting it together always, right? And that's what's very hard. But they showed a great showing.
It's really hard because I feel like you need like a second or even third voice in the team to get those situations down. And a lot of it is pre-planning with protocols. That's something that I think like Fnatic does better than anyone in the world. It's not just set plays. It's not, obviously Fnatic doesn't even change their comp all that much, but what they do focus on is all these little micro situations across the round. And those are the areas I think FPX can improve in. Not so much the approach or even mechanics. I feel like their mechanics are
so fast. Unbelievable.
They're unreal.
Yeah.
I feel like they could hang with almost anyone in the entire tournament mechanically. It's these little decisions in the mid to late rounds that are costing them.
Yeah, for T1 though, can they go further than this? You guys said after map 1, kind of felt like it was enough for them to survive today, but they got to go up against Foot.
That's going to be a very tough game. Foot has been looking phenomenal in the macro and the micro sense. Like they don't make as many mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to take a big step up from T1, especially when it gets into the later part of the game or later part of the rounds, closing out the post plants. They were closing out post plants today, but I did see a couple errors that I think Foot are going to be able to take advantage of.
I don't know. I feel like if Saya plays like he did today, the Saya Kiwi matchup is just going to be a banger. That's going to be so good.
I can't wait to see it. But for now, let's send it down to Mimi for the Verizon post-match interview, and she is standing by with Ban.
Thank you so much, Yinsu. Yes, I'm standing by with Ban from T1 for our Verizon post-match interview after that great win there. I wanted to start by asking you, Ban, you spent most of your career playing in North America with Knights. You're now on your first Korean team. What does it feel like to get a win here in Los Angeles, back in the US?
I'm honestly pretty happy about it, but we were a little disappointed against our FUT game a couple days ago, but I believe that after this win, we'll become better and possibly win.
Does it feel like you're at home with this crowd?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the support there. Yeah, give it up for Ban! I see we already got your #1 fan behind you, so clearly lots of support for your team here. I want to ask you next about your journey as a player, Ban, because from that time in North America, playing on the Knights, you were mostly a duelist player, now switching to T1, it's a new role, it's coming in a different language, it's all this change. How have your teammates on T1 helped you to grow as a player?
I think the most important thing that they did for me was like engrave the fact that I need to be confident, because I did kind of lose my confidence in the middle of the season, but them helping me like that actually helped me gain my confidence back, and still building up on it, but I think we're getting there.
Yeah, it's definitely shown the server. And I have the last question for you. Again, being back here in North America, you tweeted that you were going to be terrorizing the ranked queues again. How's that been going?
I think I hit Raiden within like a week or two, so it's pretty fun though. I like any rank better than Apex. So.
All right, well, congratulations on your win, and best of luck in the rest of your run, Ban. That concludes things for match #2, but you guys, you'll want to stick around because we have a banger coming up. It's the rematch between Paper X and EDG.